In Iran, they claim to have discovered a so-called vial where nuclear weapons might be developed in the future. So now there's talk of launching a strike. But think about it. Who gave them the authority to do this? Who said it was allowed? Why should a nation that already possesses nuclear arms be allowed to bomb another? Simply because that country might want nuclear weapons to ensure its own security.
Знаете, я понимаю некоторых, которые говорят, что ну вот ядерное оружие.
I get why some people are concerned that by placing nuclear weapons in Belarus, we could be putting ourselves in danger. That's exactly where this notion came from. But can you name a single instance, past or present, where someone seriously considers attacking a nuclear-armed nation just for amusement? No one wants to be attacked, not you, not my country. As the President and Commander-in-Chief, I take full responsibility. I won't allow us to be attacked like in the past. I told the American officials this, clearly into their faces. Nuclear weapons should stay where they are, silent, peaceful, secure, just as they should be globally. But heaven forbid anyone sets foot on our land without permission. Heaven forbid. If that happens, the retaliation will be swift and devastating, with the very weapon they fear most. Do you understand? We do. In plain terms, we've agreed with our elder brother, Russian President Vladimir Putin, that the first Oreshnik launch systems will be stationed in Belarus. You've seen Oreshnik in action. Those are the same missiles, same precision strikes, but without nuclear payloads or radioactive fallout. These systems will be deployed in Belarus before the end of the year. 80 years after our great victory, the peace built in, Yalta has been replaced by a reckless Brussels-Washington experiment. New conflict zones are being sparked directly by Western bureaucrats who treat human lives like pawns in video games or Hollywood thrillers. Why is this happening? I want you to understand. I speak now as someone in a similar role as those Western leaders. If you failed at home, if you've built a broken system, just look at France, the UK, and Germany. Governments are collapsing every year or two. That tells you something. It shows they've created disorder, and instead of cleaning up their mess, they're trying to shift the blame. And now, rather than facing the consequences, they target civilians, just like they did in unarmed Gaza and now with their aggression toward Iran. Just consider this so-called vial. They claim to have found one in Iran, supposedly where nuclear weapons will be developed in the near future. And based on that alone, they say a military strike is necessary. But think, who gave them the authority to do that? Who granted them permission? Why does a nation that already holds nuclear weapons believe it has the right to bomb another? Even if that country is seeking nuclear arms for its own defense, what gives them the moral or legal right to launch such an attack? Do you see the logic here? This wouldn't be happening unless they were supported by powerful forces. And do you know who's backing them? The rambling and confusing statements from their president are laughable. I told the Americans this directly and without hesitation. No one wants to remember how Hitler's so-called European Union campaign to the East ended, though now it's become fashionable to talk about it again. That's why countries like Poland and the Baltic states let themselves become another testing ground for military operations, just like Ukraine. The West has no real interest in our neighboring countries except to use them strategically. Is Germany, now rebuilding its military, planning to fight a war on its own land? Absolutely not. What you're seeing in Ukraine is a proxy war. That's their method of fighting against us, and even against Ukraine itself, because Slavic nations have always been a thorn in their side. They prefer to wage war on foreign soil, and in this case, it's Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland. The West doesn't value these nations for anything else. If they vanish from the global map again, it will be by their own decision. Their method of fighting against us and even against Ukraine itself. They supported Biden, stood behind him, and now that Trump has returned, he hasn't forgotten. He holds on to that resentment. Instead of moving forward like a true leader should, he's stuck in the past. So while they appear to be on the same side, in reality they're just playing different parts in the same act. Don't be fooled into thinking everything has changed. Iran proved that on one hand, Donald plays the role of a peacemaker, talking about ending the war in Ukraine while lives continue to be lost. And on the other hand, he orders an unlawful strike against Iran.